The price of Bitcoin just crashed. $27,000 is the current price. This is all because of this lovely man here that birthed a money printer when he was just a young boy has decided that he's going to print more money, of course, because that's kind of what's involved with this theory. But of course, he's raised interest rates by 0.25%. For some reason, the market, even though it was pretty much already priced in, decided that, it's going to go stop hunting on everybody. If you followed along on the live stream, you'll have seen in live, real time, one of my employees deposit $10,000 onto an exchange and immediately lose it. So I hope that wasn't you as well, but, fairly interesting afternoon. So in terms of what's to expect from Bitcoin from here, to be honest, it's kind of good news. It's not bad news at all. I understand that there's a lot of people that think, this man here, I know he looks evil, Dr. Evil, he's not. He's doing the right thing here by continuing the interest rate hike and quelling inflation. But at the same time, what that means now is that they're going to have to print more money to fund these banks, because these banks, because of this interest rate hike, are going to now really suffer from huge and significant amounts of withdrawals. If you have over £90,000 in a bank account, or $150,000 in the USA, or 100,000 euros in Europe, pull it. Don't have more than that much money in your bank account, because if the bank goes bust, you are not insured. And to that extent, why is the price crashing right now? Well, there are several reasons. We're going to talk about it right now. But the first thing that I really want to cover is the balance sheets of some of these major financial institutions. If we look at the balance sheets right now for UBS, I know I've brought it up before, but their net loans is $371 billion. $145 billion of that is in mortgages, as you can see here, like real estate mortgage loans, $145 billion. Now, a further rate hike is we've already seen mortgage default rates this year up 200% so far. We're likely to see an increase in mortgage defaults because of the figures that you see here. At the same time, what does that mean? Well, it means that essentially more Federal Reserve money printing is on the way. If I actually show you, not the price of Glimmer, which is down just a little bit today at 37 cents, but if I actually show you the amount of money that the Fed's been printing recently, I know I've showed it you before, but the point still stands. Up here, you see this little boop up here? That little boop is the Fed printing $300 billion. Now, last time when they started printing money, they printed a little bit of money, and then a huge problem arose, and then they printed a lot of money, and then they had to keep printing money. We could be about to enter one of those scenarios again. If we see more big banks failing because people are pulling their deposits from the banks because there is a huge significant loss of confidence in the banks, it becomes a very much self-fulfilling prophecy that essentially now this bloke here, he has to pay for everybody's withdrawals from those banks because those banks are now bankrupt. So on the topic of Bitcoin, what are we expecting from Bitcoin right now? Well, $27,058 is the current price. I actually went long during the course of the crash about this level here. So I'm a little bit in a loss on a Bitcoin long. However, my Ethereum trade remains in a profit somehow. Just managed to manage that position amazingly well, to be honest. So my Ethereum position is long from about $1,710 right now. I maintain my long positions because of what I expect comes next. Now, you can see today, price of Bitcoin down 3.64%, price of Ethereum down 4%. However, Ethereum versus Bitcoin down 0.75%. I expect that actually what you're going to start seeing at this point in time is Ethereum starting growing against the price of Bitcoin. Several key reasons for that would be, of course, Bitcoin is likely to just kind of do this for a while now, go sideways. We've discussed it before. 0.25% rate hike means that basically some more consolidation in this range. It's not bad. It's not good. It's pretty neutral. So to be honest, if it's neutral, it's good as far as I'm concerned. It beats going down, even though we have gone down a little bit. If you just zoom out and get a little bit of perspective on where we're actually at, to be honest, that move was quite insignificant. The price of Bitcoin is still nice and high, looking very healthy. At the same time, the US dollar, not so healthy. The US dollar is suffering from several different things right now. The key one being China. China is really badly affecting the US dollar. Why is China badly affecting the US dollar? Because China is gearing up to partner with Russia to then do oil deals in their currency, which is taking away some of the US dollar's foreign kind of what's the word? Reserve currency power. That's what it is. Currently, the dollar is a reserve currency for the world. But this is not looking all that bad at all, to be honest, in terms of the way that Bitcoin is trading. But with the fact that essentially the US dollar is going to lose more of its value because of this trade deal, I expect that this is a trend to come. Now, I've been discussing this for a while. People aren't really taking the DXY as seriously as what they actually should be doing. If you look at the DXY, does this really look like a healthy chart? Does this look like an economy that you would trust? Does this look like something that, you would expect to keep recovering? This is only only the 1 hour chart, by the way. If we look at something like the weekly chart on the DXY right now, the weekly chart on the DXY is very much a strong point to the downside. And I've been talking about this for a while. There's a lot of people, for some reason, thinking that the US dollar is suddenly going to start increasing in value again. That's not going to happen. What you're actually going to see over the next few weeks is likely Ethereum rising in value against Bitcoin and altcoins rising in value against Bitcoin. I believe that at this point in time, Bitcoin in the market has peaked. And I think that we're much more likely now to start seeing the price of Ethereum now forming a W bottom pattern. And I think we're going to start seeing Ethereum outperform Bitcoin quite significantly over the course of the next few days. Now, this is the 1 hour chart on Ethereum versus Bitcoin. But if we're to zoom out on this chart and look at the daily chart on Ethereum versus Bitcoin, as I pointed out in the live stream, what we've essentially got here is an inverse head and shoulders pattern. It's not perfect because this shoulder is lower than this shoulder, so it's more like a bit of like a hunchback of Notre Dame kind of inverse head and shoulders. But to that extent, it's still an inverse head and shoulders pattern, and I'm expecting a bounce on Ethereum versus Bitcoin for several key reasons. The main one being, I think that Bitcoin is kind of done in terms of its huge rally to the upside, and I think that Ethereum is a much better play right now, hence why I went long on Ethereum at $1,710. Now, the current price is $1,720. What are we looking at right now? Well, one of the reasons why I went long is essentially we still sit within a very strong bull flag pattern. And in theory, if we don't lose this level of support down here, which is sat basically at 1,710, call it 1,700 to allow for a little bit of room and escapism below that level. Call it $1,700. As long as we maintain trading above $1,700 on Ethereum, there is no problem at all. That's because that's a pretty key level of support. You can see here, we also have a big volume bar there that's supporting the price. At the same time, we can expect the price of Ethereum to gap back into this range right here. And I'm personally expecting the price of Ethereum to keep rising from here on out, to be honest. I expect a bit of a recovery in price tomorrow. First time we've had a bit of a down day in a while, but at the same time, not of any great concern to me. Another important thing to point out would be on the VWAP right now, which has been a very strong indicator recently. It is flashing such a strong buy on the VWAP. It's not often that you get these really green candles forming on the VWAP, and that's saying basically buy the dip. So I'm listening to the VWAP as per usual. The VWAP tends to be a pretty accurate and reliable indicator. We've absolutely crushed the bottom of it. If I actually zoom in on the 5-minute chart to show you how intensely we are in the bottom of the VWAP, like I've run up in the next few hours or so, is pretty likely on Ethereum back to this previous level of resistance here around $1,741. So from my perspective right now, I'm taking the Ethereum trade. I think the Bitcoin, I am in a Bitcoin trade. Do I regret somewhat opening it? No, because it's not a bad entry for the longer term, but for the short term, not the best entry in the world. It could be better. But overall, I think the markets look particularly healthy in terms of the way that they've reacted. It's the way that you would expect them to react to this. Over leverage in the market, a lot of short positions were open just before the announcement came out. It was kind of what I was expecting. I mean, we did see a big pump to the upside and then a huge drop to the downside. Another thing that's been brought up to me recently is the price of XTP. Now, the price of XTP is looking really low right now. I'm going to buy some tonight. I'll probably buy some tomorrow as well. I'm going to start wading in now with a few more Bitcoins just to kind of hoover up these discount prices. The order books on the sell side are now looking a little bit thinner than what they were doing previously. So hopefully, if I start just adding a little bit of buying pressure in here, it's not going to take that much. Like 10 Bitcoins takes it all the way back up to 40 Satoshis or whatever. So I might have a stab at that at some point in time. I mean, for me, it's just accumulation. It's not like I'm pumping the price for no reason. I want to hold these coins, and so I have to go and buy through the market to acquire the coins I want to hold. And from my perspective, a lot of people they sleep on the market. They don't get it. They don't understand the long-term plays here. They don't understand the way the market works. There's a lot of inexperience in the market and therefore a lot of bad decision making. That's why you see over leverage from even my own employees over leveraging their trades. Like that guy, when he deposited the extra $5,000, just banged it in on 100x, he told me. I was like, why? He's like, oh, well, I was $3,000 in profit for like 2 minutes. And then he got liquidated. And I was like, man, why did you do that? Why? Don't do that. Be sensible. Try and preserve your capital. It's important to preserve capital. It's one of the things on tap. Like preserve your capital, buy altcoins. What I always do, make money trading. That's what I do. And then I buy altcoins with the money that I make from trading. So overall, to summarize today's video, Jerome dumped the markets. Could have, pretty much expected, to be honest. He pumped them first of all, and then he got on a live stream and started dumping them. And I said this had happened. I said, look, the initial reaction will be positive, and then Jerome will open his mouth, and then he'll start being negative, and then the reaction will be negative. Now Jerome has shut his trap again. We can expect probably a bounce back to the upside as people forget everything that he said. And then when the meeting minutes come out in 2 weeks' time, expect another bit of a drop to the downside because people forget what he said, they reread it, and then the market goes back down. That's just how this stuff works. It's so fickle, it's so stupid, and it's a little bit annoying at times. It just is what it is. Overall, DXY dropping to the floor, and if you expect the DXY is going to continue its fall, then expect Bitcoin is going to continue its rise. And on that note, guys, please do drop a like on today's video, especially if you appreciate the effort that's gone into today. Like, so many videos, so much time on live streams, so much everything. Do drop a like on the video. I'll be back tomorrow with another one. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe, trying to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel, and have a fantastic, fantastic evening. Goodbye.